Hey there, it's Corson-Knowles, and in this video I want to share with you some lessons and ideas I've learned over the years about perfectionism. And the funny thing is, I have to admit, I've been waiting for the perfect moment to record this video, to share this video with you, and here it is, right? I mean, that's the funny thing about perfectionism is, we trick ourselves into thinking that, oh, when the timing's right, when everything's just perfect, when, my book has no typos in it, when my kids are, graduate from college, then I'll, write that book, all these things we tell ourselves of, someday we're going to get around to it, someday we're going to get it done, but that day just can't be today because it's not perfect yet. Right, and that's the great myth of perfectionism, is that that day never comes, someday never comes. And you look back a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, and you realize, hey, look, I just kept putting it off. I couldn't get myself to just get it out there. And I'm reading a book now, and the author made an incredible quote that's stuck with me and really inspired me. And what she said is that perfectionism is the unwillingness to be vulnerable. Perfectionism is the unwillingness to be vulnerable. And that's basically what it is in a nutshell. I mean, it's so true because if you're being a perfectionist about not being able to publish your book until it's just perfect, you're not willing to be vulnerable, right? In order to write a book, to share that with other people, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to get feedback, willing to have people tell you you're wrong, you're crazy, you're stupid, you're silly, and they love you and they hate you, and all the different kinds of responses that you're going to get is just a part of creating anything and sharing it with the world. So really what perfectionism does is it stops us from being vulnerable. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We don't allow ourselves to get out there and to share what we're doing with the world. And that's what stops us from success, right? Because what's going to create long-term success is exactly the willingness to be vulnerable. It's the willingness to take your manuscript, no matter how wonderfully or horribly you've written it, and to share that with readers, with editors, with publishers, with people, to get feedback on how you can improve as an artist. And the great myth that's going on out there in the industry is that you can just write your first book and work with one editor, and all of a sudden you have this magic, you have the next Harry Potter or something. And that's not how it works. It takes years to become a really skilled author, and it's years of work. And it's not just years of you sitting alone in your room writing. That's important. That's just the foundation. Just you sitting in your room by yourself writing is just the foundation for success. But real success comes when you get feedback from the outside world, when you take your manuscript, your work, your art, what you've created, and share that with other people and get feedback and get new ideas and learn better ways to do it. That's how you become truly great at anything in life. And so, what perfectionism does, the awful tragedy of perfectionism, is that by being perfectionists, by trying to seek perfection, we limit feedback. Right? We don't get feedback from the world because we're not willing to share with the world and to accept that feedback. And because we're not getting feedback, we're not learning, we're not growing, we're not expanding. And so we'll never reach even anything close to perfection because perfectionism holds us back from being vulnerable, from sharing, from learning, from growing. So, we all have perfectionism to some degree. We all have these, negative, unsupported thoughts in our mind that, oh, someday I'll do it, someday I'll get it done, it's not quite ready yet. We all have those thoughts going on in our mind all the time. The key is to just be really realistic with yourself, be really honest with yourself, and to be willing to be vulnerable. And to say, hey, look, it's been a month, a year, 10 years, 50 years, however long, and I haven't finished this book yet, or I haven't published the book yet, or I haven't asked for feedback yet. And if that's you, if that's how you're feeling right now, you need to go and take that next step. So whatever it is right now that scares you, that kind of freaks you out, that makes you feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do that, that's exactly what you should do. If you do one thing every day that you fear, if you conquer and break through fear every single day, you'll rise to a whole new level of success, right? Everything you want in life is going to come from other people. Right? And we can't get things from other people unless we ask for them, unless we share, right? And that's the whole cycle of life. That's how it works. So if you want to stay stuck in your room by yourself looking at a computer all day long, and you're not sharing, and you're not creating, and you're not willing to be vulnerable, you're not going to grow. You're not going to achieve any kind of success that you're looking for. But if you're willing to do that, to share yourself with the world openly, honestly, authentically, to be willing to get feedback from people, that's how you will create massive, massive success. And again, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth the journey if you're willing to put in the work and the effort. So I want to share this video with you. Hope it's been inspiring. If you're challenged with perfectionism, if you find it's holding you back, just write down one thing every day that you're afraid of doing and go do that, right? So if you're afraid of talking to cover designers, go do that. If you're afraid of talking to publishers, go do it. If you're afraid of talking to agents, go do it. Right? Whatever it is that's scaring you, go do that. And just one email, just one phone call, just looking at one website, that's all you have to do. You don't have to spend hours and hours every day on this stuff, but just staying consistent every single day. That's how you make progress. And that's how you conquer perfectionism, is by constantly making little itty-bitty improvements and being willing to get feedback from people and learn and grow from there. All right? So I'm wishing you an incredible day. I'll see you in the next video.